might be looking for people that are a little bit older, that maybe have had more experience, and I've never really had like a full-on relationship with a man, so I didn't know if I was right for it. But my whole life I spent thinking that I was going to be heterosexual and assuming that until I literally met the first person that I ever had feelings for, and that happened to be when I was 20. And 20 is not really an old age, people say to me, to come out, but it was the first time it ever hit me that I actually had feelings for a woman. So to me, it felt like forever. So I'll read you my essay, which is called Credit in the Unstraight World. I've always felt like I was somewhat of a fraud in the gay community. It took me a while to feel as if I were actually a part of it, like I had to do something to earn my lesbian credentials, other than date a woman or simply have feelings for one. I didn't come out until I was 20, and that's because I really had no idea I was queer until then. When I look back on it now, I can see some signs. There had been times I thought, I could probably be with a girl, no problem, as if it were a dare or something I'd be willing to do at gunpoint. Growing up, I don't recall having any crushes on girls, and I played sports. I guess I quit softball too soon. I attended schools in 2 different cities in Michigan throughout my adolescence. One was a diverse college town where I lived until I was 15, and the other was a small town that had a history with the KKK. I wasn't finding my soulmate in either one. In both places, I was adamant that I'd be getting out of state when it came time for college. That's where I'd meet the one who was destined to be my match, someone who had interest in film and music, rather than pigskins and pickup trucks. I'd always assumed this one would be a guy, although any semblance of a relationship I had in high school ended in heartache, and my real last boyfriend now dances on cruise ships. Looks like we were a match made in gay heaven. It's no wonder we didn't like making out. Thinking of myself and my education and my career made me feel empowered, like my peers just didn't have it together like I did. They'd be on the fast track to marriage, babies, and boredom, while I was in Chicago drinking coffee and having intelligent conversations, working on novels and networking, and feeling well connected. Eventually this dream would involve a partner, and someday I'd meet him when the time was right. But by age 19, I hadn't met him. I had met several dudes who were fun to kiss while drunk at parties, but I usually followed that up with Frenching my friends. And when my friends schemed about how to go home with said dudes, I was slipping out the door to catch the train home. My subconscious had no plans to bet a man. My conscious mind said, I'm just not that kind of girl. The thing is, I'm totally that kind of girl. I'm just that kind of girl for a girl. The summer before my junior year, I applied for a position at my college newspaper. The first interview went well, so I was called in for a second. I walked into the office and took a chair by the front door, waiting for my turn to talk to the 2 editors. Then a girl came walking by me, and I recognized her face from her column in the paper. She had what I thought was a totally gay face. Or maybe it was just her haircut. Nonetheless, she was a lesbian, and I was now seeing her in the flesh. Hey, how's it going? She addressed me nervously, walking out the door toward the bathroom. I barely had time to say good and process that her presence had made me feel a little excited. In one split second, the sight of this person, this girl, had made me feel a little shy. I could have been blushing. She ended up being the editor I'd be working under. Needless to say, I got the job. Working together made it all the more apparent I had feelings for this person, this girl. She was smart and a great writer. She liked the same kind of music I did and liked consuming lots of caffeine. She also had a girlfriend she lived with, but ended up breaking it off because she had the same kind of feelings for me that I had for her. She was even willing to put up with going out with a straight girl. She was my first everything, and I had to grapple with the feelings I assumed I should have felt much sooner in life. How can I be gay, I thought, instantly feeling bad that I questioned it. Some of my best friends were gay, but they'd known it forever. My friend Kevin has a videotape of him at age 4, answering that his favorite Christmas gift was his sister's curling iron. Where was my gay history? Now knowing that I'm a femme through and through, I can't take my cues from fashions and bad haircuts. I've always preferred dresses, skirts, makeup, and dyeing my hair to jeans and tees. I also quite enjoyed girly things like fashion and boy bands, and anything else that safely falls under the category of things straight girls are prone to like. Maybe I thought I'm bisexual. That would make sense and make me less fraudulent. I could count some girls that I possibly had crushes on, but never really acknowledged the feelings for. The hot singer of a band I skipped my high school prom to see. The girl with a lip ring whom I desperately wanted to befriend in a music class my freshman year. She was the one I wanted to get high and play truth or dare with all the time, in hopes we'd get dared to make out. Okay, I was getting a little gayer. I tried to put things in perspective, which was possibly made easier by the fact I was taking 2 women's studies courses at the time, and sexuality was part of our weekly discourse. It's also possible it made me more confused, but my feelings didn't lie. I liked a girl, I kissed her, I didn't die. I felt breasts and I was into it. It felt awesome, in fact. While in high school, I had taken my gay best bud to prom with me. I had argued passionately in speech class that gay marriage should be legal, but I'm a Cheerleader was one of my favorite films. And I did sometimes grab my friends' asses just for fun. The hardest part about coming out in college is that it made me feel a bit cliche. It's considerably easy for friends and family to think it's a phase, or some sort of liberal college social science experiment. But I would not have frivolously chosen something like that for myself if I knew it would cause my mom to ask, "Well, what am I supposed to say when people ask me if you have a boyfriend?" Maybe if I had known I was a lesbian at age 12, I could have been prepared for this answer a little better. But I think I did pretty well in saying, "I'm sorry, Mom, I forgot this was all about you." Also, I never had a boyfriend really to speak of, so it shouldn't be much of a change for her to say no. She could feel free to answer she has a girlfriend, but at the time, saying that seemed like I might push her over the edge. Eventually, she'd come to introduce my girlfriend as my other half, and that was good enough for me. Baby steps. In my first real relationship, I was with a woman for 4.5 years. We did everything I'd hoped to do with a partner, and even though it didn't work out, it wasn't because she was a she. And in being with her, I realized that being bisexual was sort of out of the question. My attraction to men was and is non-existent. Somehow my sexuality was just not tapped into until I met the first person I was really and truly attracted to, mentally and physically. And since then, that has happened several other times. All female. It's true. I'm official. One of the things I came to accept was that I came out at the perfect time for me. I had crushes on boys because they were closer to my type than the femme girls I palled around with. My type is an andro butchy one, and I did not go to school with any of those kinds of girls, unfortunately. Had that happened, this would likely be a completely different story. Maybe coming out at 12 or 13 would have given me a different coming-of-age story, but it could have also made my experience much harder. I would have embraced it, sure, but it's easier said than done. I have many friends whose realizations came along with gay bashings, being called dyke in the halls at their all-girls school, or sleeping with a lot of guys because they thought they needed to get used to it. Luckily, that never occurred to me as a good idea. To quote from But I'm a Cheerleader, it's easy to be a prude when you're a homosexual. I have finally found myself, and my coming out experience has been instrumental in my authenticity and my happiness. After coming out, I wanted to write about life as a lesbian, or about lesbians doing cool things that are otherwise invisible to a straight world. I've actually become a professional lesbian of sorts, as my day job is to make sure every facet of queer femaledom is written about and analyzed by as many people as possible. I actually feel like I'm a better person as a lesbian. I think the only time I wasn't being myself was when I was clueless about my sexuality. I have never once been closeted in any situation since coming out. In fact, I think I'm probably considerably annoying to some people because I talk about my girlfriend all the time. I like to give lectures on lesbian sexuality to people who ask, "How do you guys do it?" Or, "Who is the boy in the relationship?" I'm really proud to be gay and never feeling the gay shame that some people I knew grew up with. I'm not trying to feel like I missed out on an imperative experience. Everyone's experience is different, which is something I learned after reading an 80-year-old woman's coming out story in Newsweek a few years back. My mom, despite her momentary freakout, is supportive. My dad has always said, whatever makes me happy makes him happy. My sister and I love to joke about our family of diversity, as I'm the lesbian and she's in an interracial marriage and mother to a mixed-race baby. Our parents are happy with us the way we are, and that's something I couldn't feel better about. I still like to hear other lesbians coming out stories. I want to know when they knew, who their first crush was, when their first kiss was, and I love to see their scowls and eye rolls when they describe a failed attempt at a sexual experience with a man. It might be the only thing I have going for myself in the official lesbian department. I'm a gold star. Now, where's my card? Thank you.